Tuesday morning, episode 11. My man went out for golf this morning. I had a little bit of a lie-in. I have my midnight calls on a Monday morning, so I'm not going to be getting up at 5 a.m. Needed a little bit of extra time. Funny that. I don't know if you guys have found that. Usually, if we're still in a stressed out environment, it's really difficult to kind of catch up on sleep. But over the last few years, like taking a step back from the agency and finding my slow rhythm again, I feel like I found my sleeping window, my natural sleeping window, which is amazing. I very rarely use alarms, like unless I know I have a late night early call and things like that, or I set usually like a backup alarm. But I've been finding that I know that as long as I'm in bed between 10:30, I naturally wake up between 7:30 every morning. And it's just been real nice. So I wanted to pass that message along. I still remember jolts of alarm clocks in the morning. And don't get me wrong, I understand why they're needed because I did that for years. But yeah, if you're able to start catching up in your sleep at some point and you're able to find your more natural sleep cycles, it's amazing. It's just a different start to the day. So yeah, thought I'd let you know that. Got robust. And I think I wanted to talk today about joy and love and happiness in amongst so much chaos and sadness. I think second time I've heard it, and I feel like we're going to need to bring this phrase to the forefront, but it feels like there is a war on happy people. I mean, it feels like there's a war on everybody at the moment, honestly. I feel like seeing so many people step out there and do what they do online, every single thing feels like it's confronted with some form of hate at the moment. What have we done to ourselves, guys? What have we done? Where is the joy? How did we allow all the fun to be sucked out? And at what point did we think that it was okay to shit on people for having a good time? It just reminded me so much. Oh, my mum's old business partner. I never really liked the man. I always had a bit of a wary feeling about him. But I always remember as a kid, Danny must have been about 11, 12, so 14, 13, 14. And going through school, all right, school's tough for any kid. And I think it was the first time I kind of experienced what it feels like to just have everything completely overlooked all the time. And it blew my mind. Like, we'd be on the ferry on the way home or something, he'd be like, oh man, how's school? I was like, yeah, it's all right. I'm tired. And the first thing out of this dude's mouth was, oh, you don't know what tired is. And it's like, yeah, dude, probably compared to a 30 whatever odd year old person with two kids and something. No, probably the 14-year-old doesn't know what tired really is. But to me, in my lifetime of my timeline and my experience, this is me feeling pretty fucking tired. So I just remember at some point I just stopped talking to him because no matter what you said, he'd had it worse. Like you don't know what that actually means, and it's like, oh, okay. And I feel like that is kind of what's happening with the internet at the moment in this really odd way. People are finally plucking up the courage to step up and stand in front of an audience and get online and press record and do this, and it is just met with backlash. And it's like, can we all just be a little bit kinder to each other? Like, I think, I don't know. And I mean, look, until you've got through enough experiences in life and can sit in so many of the different dualities and paradoxes that there are, I mean, I guess you don't know, or unless you've stopped cycling out of your own stories. Of course, your version's always going to be, I don't know. I don't know. But it was because one of my mentors put up the other day, yesterday again. It's like there is a war on happy people. And I heard another woman say that a couple of years ago, and it's it's very interesting and it's sneaky because even this week, even yesterday, like I've been having a lot of fun creating the different thumbnails, getting on here, having these chats, and actually just kind of going with the flow and seeing where these conversations go. And that's kind of the whole point of all of this. And putting these out consistently, I know that eventually they'll start to get into the hands of the right people, which means I will start to create my own little flywheel effect of having questions and different topics and different things that people want to actually discuss as well. So it's like we're all having tea together. But in the process of doing that, even yesterday, I was almost feeling like I couldn't have fun with it anymore, or that it suddenly had to become this serious thing, or I don't know, I don't know. And it blew my mind. And it was when Becca was saying in her little rant yesterday about the miserable people just being the loudest people in the room at the moment. And I'm just, it's annoying. It's annoying to the people that have gone through some of these levels of the victimhood, the scarcity mindsets, the survival modes, the this, and have moved into different awarenesses of abundance levels, of self commitment, of self responsibility, of deciding your own fate and then making the moves that are required from you to take to get there without blaming external people. And it blows my mind. And she said something in the video that kind of hit, that I hadn't quite realized what was happening in terms of the gratitude and the joy and everything. Because again, it makes me laugh that it's like it's all the things that are actually going to connect us back to ourselves that are very quickly to be poo-pooed in the public eye. And I don't know whether that's also just this odd like bot mentality that we have around some of this stuff, because I swear at least half the trolls out there are just bots being shitty just to cause shit and stir shit. Because when we're in that negative and crappy mindset, we're not thinking about possibilities, we're thinking about problems, and we're ruminating and we're staying stuck, and we're not actually getting ourselves up and out and, you know, truly looking at the situation and going, okay, well, this is mine to react to in however way I choose. And that usually, if the first thing that's coming out of your mouth is spilling hate and jealousy and all of that, why, I think the thing that makes me laugh the most, there was another woman that I found recently, came across, she did these like little trash talk Tuesdays where she'd grab a tequila and then she'd rant on the hate in her comments. She's like a country singer. And absolutely hilarious. And it's like she brought up one of these posts. It's like, well, Brenda, and it's like this caption that Brenda had said that wasn't very nice about her doing some of her things, and it wasn't very godly or Christian or church-like or this, and she was running around, and she'd clicked onto Brenda's profile, and the post that she was sharing was love all, you know, God is one, we are all one, spread love, spread joy, spread all this stuff, and there's Brenda being a little shit in the comment section. But all over her page, it's like, no, but I'm Christian and I'm a nice person. I don't know where we've got so far away from things that we are not realizing the consequences of our actions. And I mean, as I'm saying that, it's so funny. It's just taking me right back to 25 and glitching out of those realizations when I had my initial spine injury and I couldn't walk for a year. I couldn't stand up straight, like actually stand up straight. I was stuck in a kind of this bent over position. In the first couple of months I spent like crawling around the house. I couldn't even stand up. Pain down both legs. Yay. But it was during that time that I started digging into, because I was finding the roots of things. It was so much was confusing me in terms of what I said I wanted, who I said I was, and where I was currently at. And it wasn't adding up. And it took a whole lot of soul searching and digging. But again, you know, one of those quotes, one of my favorite, I think it's Maya Angelou quotes, you know, when you don't know better, you can't do better. But when you know better, do better. And I think that's now where I know I'm starting to get irritated in terms of the fact that we now have access to all this amazingness. The technology, the tools, the knowledge, it is literally there at our fingertips. And what are we doing? We're still throwing our toys out of the pram and complaining and trying to pull other people down for using those tools and getting them up and out of their own fucking situation. Like, why? Why? I definitely think a lot of it still stems from that thought of my gain is someone else's loss. And I think we've come as a society to start playing so many win-lose situation games that we've forgotten that there are scenarios where it's a win-win-win. When you find the right people and you find the right mix of a group of people that all have complementary skill sets. And again, it just kind of brings me back to the point of when you're looking out online, it's like if you're going to get deterred by somebody who's already done something, what's the point in even making anything? It's all already been done in some variation or form of one another, but it's never been done from your lens with your unique blueprint and makeup, which is never able to be the same as somebody else's. And this is what I find, or where I love being in the personal branding space, because we are all our own personal brands. We are all our own walking billboards of our own standards. That's why they say people who are healthy and wealthy and look good, they set a different standard in a room. They set a different tone. You look at somebody who's maybe hit the top of their career, but they're looking disheveled, they're looking, hollowed in the eyes. They're, again, you can see they're on the verge of a manic episode. And then you put somebody next to him that's, managed to make it to the same level but keep their health, their sanity, and their thing intact. It's like, I know which one I would choose. But in order to do that, you must be willing to do the other things. And I think there's this very odd self-sacrifice, martyrdom, self-servingness that sits at this weird intersection. Because that's where I also felt like my dad sat. Like, he used to be a power lifter in his early days. He was a fit dude. He was in the police force. He was training. He was doing all that stuff. And then somewhere around midlife, in his early 20s, 30s, which is funny now, I guess, as I grow older, coming through some of these phases and realizing how old my parents were when they had us as kids. Like, I think Mum was 27 when she had her first kid. And so by the time she was my age, she had 3 babies at home and a husband that was on call 24/7 and out the house first thing in the morning until dinner time. But I watched him stop training and keep the drinking. And it got to a point then when in his 60s, there was no retirement to enjoy. But when you can zoom out and step out for a minute and realize it's like, that's 30 odd years. And then you're also expecting to stay somewhat sane and movable to enjoy your 60s. Like, I look at my mum now. So Dad passed away 2 years ago. His anniversary is actually this weekend on Saturday. 2 years will be this weekend. He passed of a stroke 2 years ago. That's one phone call that no expat kid ever wants to get in their life. Your father's not going to make it through the night. Yay. I was on a flight in 2 hours over in the UK. I ended up spending 6 weeks out there, 8 weeks almost. Because it took a while to move him. He ended up passing away up in Cambridge when they were up for my granddad's 85th birthday party. And then we all descended on the house up in Cambridge. I landed the following morning. I was there 11 a.m. I got a call 6 p.m. Hong Kong time, and I was there UK time 11 a.m. the following morning. Managed to have Wi-Fi on the plane. So I got the messages through when he had finally passed. But man, I'd never cried like that before. And again, you don't experience the loss of a parent until it's your turn. Some kids never experience the loss of the parent. Sometimes the kid's the one that gets lost before the parent gets lost. But that was a new tool bag of emotions that I've now added to my experiences that I can draw from. And same with everything else. Everybody, we all have our own experiences and we all have our own ways of saying things and doing things, and the things that we enjoy and the things that make us happy. And I don't know where, well, again, I guess you can kind of see it. Society, it's greed, it's speed, it's this. They get us all, it's like shiny object syndrome. It's like, run after this, and then we'll just pull the rug just as it's too late for you to actually realize that now you're running on some sort of hamster wheel and you can't quite get off because you've run out of hours in the day. But happiness, joy, like I always knew there was something to it, and it's very odd. Again, I don't know. It's weird. I just keep fishing, and it's like this split. So it's like split screen, and half of it's in full color, and half of it's in black and white, and it's almost like that Pleasantville movie where they come to life. They come not to life. They're already alive, but it's a movie in black and white, and some of the characters then start to become colorful. They have color. And at one point, one of the women has color, and she ends up putting like makeup on her to make her black and white again. And I remember watching that movie and that just being the complete like epitome of what we're trying to do to each other in society in terms of this, bringing joy, bringing happiness, finding the courage to step into your own gifts, your own intuitions, your own quirks, your own wants, your own needs, your own desires, and be okay with that, and know that it's not your job to take care of everybody else. It's your responsibility to take care of you, form connections around you, build the people that you love, support your community, and enjoy it. And if you're a complete hermit, go do it alone in the middle of nowhere in the woods or something. Like, have you watched Alone? Have you watched Life Below Zero? People do that. That's an option. Go off grid. Leave. But the stories we tell ourselves on why we can't or why we shouldn't or what, like it's crazy. But I don't know. I feel like this is more of a kind of a chiller video today. Probably going to be a bit shorter, except I still don't remember to drink my tea, so we're still only halfway through. But I think she'd said something, that was what I wanted to say in the reel. She said something that put it into a bit more perspective, where it's like people are now treating gratitude and happiness like a privilege. And they are things that are never able to be taken away from you. I mean, I still remember, again, very grateful for my upbringing in Hong Kong and what I've been able to see and what I've played witness to, even just growing up in a city like this, the different cultures, the different things, the different opportunities, the different access to anyway, it's massive. And I very much am grateful for my parents for having had us kids out here instead of the UK. I mean, it, it would have been night and day in terms of where we would have probably ended up. I know I probably would have ended up in a shit ton of trouble. Like, oh, it's crazy to think sometimes. But then I also realize like I'm not normal to think that sometimes. And I think a lot of us don't always take that opportunity every so often to, well, because we're too fucking fried dealing with survival mode to even take a step back and take on another perspective. So I get it. I do. When you're in it, there is just no other space for anything else. But it's very easy to then not even be building relationships on the side, to have people that can help you and tell you when you're being a bit insane, running towards the wrong thing. Because when you're in it, you don't always feel like you're insane until you burn out, break something, faint, and crack a head out. Like, I'm fine. Carry on. Not fine. But we seem to have sacrificed all the joy and the fun, or got to the point where that she was saying that, gratitude and happiness is a privilege. That was it. That was where it was telling my story. Raised in Hong Kong, one of my school trips in Hong Kong, this is going to be, I mean, even when I say it, it sounds ludicrous. I went to Kenya. Our school had a connection with local orphanages out there. I'm not sure if it was orphanages or just local schools in very rural areas of Kenya. And we did a 10-day trip down there, and we spent 5 days going around to a couple of different schools, bringing with us presents, pencil cases, supplies, things, sheets, whatever we could for the kids. But then we spent like 4 or 5 days in each school building desks, teaching little English classes, doing coloring things, playing games, just hanging around these kids and being around the school. And it, I can't quite articulate the just the faces of these kids when we arrived, and how like beaming they were with joy and happiness. And you're looking around at these mud huts that they're in, and the rations of food that they have, and the conditions that they're living in, going to school in, sleeping in, working in. And there's just this innocence and these smiles, and they do this thing. They'd be like stroking our hands, because obviously we've got the white skin and they have all the dark skin. And the first thing they did with all the girls was they started braiding our hair. It was the cutest little thing. But it's when you go to third world countries, like, again, being raised in Hong Kong, raised in China, raised in Asia, there's a very interesting discrepancy that you see throughout the city. You see the ultra wealthy, and you see the 94-year-old woman beggar on the floor, the lapsap lady pushing the trolleys with all the things piled up, with a hunch that's like so hunched over she doesn't even look like she's going to make it up a hill. You know, we have caged houses and penthouses within the same areas of Hong Kong. Like, the walled city is right in the middle of Kowloon, where it's one of the most affluent areas now of Hong Kong. Same, my sister said, when she went to Jakarta, it was amazing how you could see it on the same streets. Thailand, you see people living in, it's third world countries, it's no access to things, and how are they happier people than we are as the civilized society that has the tech, that has the gadgets, that seemingly has all the things. Even the Filipino community, I mean, they're some of the happiest culture and people that you know, and they sing and they dance and they joy and food and love and care is just baked into a lot of these other cultures that I feel like we're just missing. Like, gratitude, happiness, it's not a privilege. You could have everything that you want and be fucking miserable. That's what we see in today's age. We see celebrities, we see people committing suicide, we see people that have it all deciding to opt out. So clearly that's also not. So then why, when people are trying to put themselves out there and create joy and move people and get them out of this stuckness, are we allowing all this loud hate to come on top, you know? And I guess I feel like this is a little bit of a call to arms in terms of creators and in terms of, you know, what's going on with the energies that's shifting. Because I don't know about you guys, but we're coming out of a 400-year cycle and moving into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So if you don't know what's going on with the energies in the world, I'll put a link in the caption. My older sister is very much down the astrology, gene key, and human design rabbit holes, and has been in this work for a long time. But she's written a brilliant white paper on the forecast of business for 2027 and beyond. We are shifting. I think a lot of us can feel it, but we're in the next few years where we can't lose our shit, and there is no point silencing us now, because it's going to take time to find your people and to get your content and to find your voice and to get through these reps to where you're actually being connected with the right sort of people. And so you may as well be doing that now while, yes, this is all chaos, but find ways to take comfort in the fact with the hate or with whatever's going out on there, it really is got nothing to do with anybody else. Like, it really has. And it's easy to say that once you've sat in the position and you're able to start putting on the recording and do this. But again, this has now been me doing years and years of stopping and starting, of trying and then going and then coming back and then stopping and then coming back and then stopping. And brilliant analogy, I'll just pull Becca in here one more time again. She said on one of our masterclasses or calls the year that I was in her container, it was about the fact that when you get on this journey, especially building a personal brand or business, or you've decided to get out, like, you are stepping onto this conveyor belt that is life, that will pull you along. And as long as you can stay on the journey and stay in the reps and stay in the creation and stay in the process of love and helping and awareness, you know, and quality and joy and peace and calm, and none of this manic craziness that everybody else seems to be grasping for, that resonance you have to create within yourself so strong that everybody else comes in and attunes to you. There's chaos out there. There's chaos out there. But if you don't start putting out that signal, you won't hone your craft. And then it'll get to 2 years later where maybe something happens online and you're like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Wish I would have started this before. Again, this podcast thing, this episode, this regularly scheduled kind of chat, I've wanted to do this for a long time, but I've also realized that I haven't fully got to the point where I've been forming or articulating my thoughts and my ideas well enough to just press record and sit and enjoy a cup of tea that I'm still not drinking for 25 minutes with strangers on the internet. So much of it started from me finding my man. He saved my life more times than I can count already. We haven't even, we only got married this year. We've been together 6 years now, I think. This is coming on 6 years. My best friends, they've kept me grounded. But it also took me opening up and finding beautiful, silly people that have beautiful souls and kind hearts. And it does irk me sometimes that a lot of these people, well, they opt out. They opt out of this social media stuff, and it's fair enough. And look, I'm pretty sure YouTube's probably going to be one of my more favorite channels. I say that I've always loved Instagram. I've always enjoyed the creation process, but I don't enjoy the games that are being played on there. And I also find it annoying sometimes where people are getting into their crafts, or the cycle that I'm seeing at the moment now is that they'll get online with their craft, they'll do really well with their craft, and then suddenly they pivot into being a growth person and stop talking about their craft. And now they're then the growth person or the social media person, when actually they wanted to be the furniture flipping person or the runner or the artist or the this or the that. And because they were fully pouring in their joy to their craft, people started noticing. And then when everybody noticed, everybody's like, oh, well, what did you do to get noticed? And then they start teaching about that. And it's like, no, well, actually, how you got noticed is by doing your craft. Fun little comment I heard earlier as well is like, show you working. You don't have to show the work. You have to show you working. So when you're creating, when you're doing anything, the documentation of the B-roll, of the behind the scenes, of doing little snippets, is always good to collect and have so that you've got those. But it doesn't always have to be finished pieces. It can be you practicing. It can be you doing the reps. It can be you doing the doing. I don't know. Maybe now we're veering off into a different topic. But I see it too. There is a war on happy people. And right now, happy people, we need you. We need your spark. We need your joy. We need your unrelenting positivity in a world that is looking like it's burning. And true as Bob, there are places that are. But again, paradox, duality, you've got to look at it. There are people on this earth currently that are living in a living hell, and people that are living in a heaven on earth at the same damn time. Pick your battles. Pick what you can work with. I think the internet's very good at making us feel like the whole world is now our problem to save. And it's not. It's not our responsibility to save everybody. It's our responsibility to save ourselves and save as many people around us as we can. It's not even that. It's our own responsibility to save ourselves. Let everybody else do what the fuck they want. And you'll find in turn, usually that has a ripple effect around you. And if you've been doing the work yourself, people start noticing, and then that antenna sort of goes, oh, somebody's figured it out. And then, yeah, it's those odd cycles of fending off the ones that want the quick wins and want the quick satisfactions and the, I don't know, guys. I don't know where we went so wrong. But holy shit. In my mind, I just keep going, nobody panic. This is supposed to be fun. And on that, I'll have my last sip of tea. Rooibos today. I think that's it for today's little chat. But I'm really excited about getting these videos in front of other people and seeing who does start to come out of the woodwork and have conversations and stuff. Because I know I'm not the only one. At the end of the day, if you are thinking it, other people are thinking it, and usually more people are thinking it than you even realize. which still blows my mind when you start stepping into some of these rooms and then you open it and you're like, oh shit, there are thousands of people already here. Damn it. Talk about feeling late to a party. Joy is the key. Love is the key. Finding your craft. Do the silly hobbies. Do the silly things that feel silly. Breathe a bit more silliness and space into your life, because by God, it's going to go by so fast. And so much sadness for so long, it does something to a person, and it's a lot harder to come back from that. So even if you are in a tough situation, even if you are in a shitty situation, even if it feels like you can't turn anything around right now, one step in the right direction. Find something to laugh about. Find something. I have this beautiful, I had it on my background for a long time. It was a note I found in my dad's diary after I was going through his things. We were trying to find his laptop password, and I flipped over to one of his notebook pages, and it just said beautifully in his handwriting, if you can see the funny side, there isn't much you can't deal with. And that's a man that saw a lot in his career, in his lifetime. Like, horrors of that side of the world. And then had to come home to 3 little girls at the time, and later a little boy. There's 4 of us kids. So yeah, watch out, multiply. But no, I mean, seriously though, stand your ground, happy people. Don't dampen your joy just because everybody else is miserable. Your joy does not negate their misery, and their misery does not negate your joy. You can be sad and happy at the same time. It's the same thing with friends and relationships. Not everybody is going to be in the same positive mood all the time. Not everybody is going to be on an upward trajectory all the time. And it's not possible, and it's not the point. What is it, Mum always used to say? You've got to find those all-weather friends. The ones that are there for the sunny days and the rainy days and all the days in between. So go find your all-weather friends. Go find your little joy, sparks of joy. Find your silliness. Because if you can find your silliness and learn to bring that through all of this, I definitely feel like that's a key. See you tomorrow.